when you think of jumping into politics anytime in Africa, people start asking questions. What are you bringing? Why do you think you're the right person at this time to be governor of a state?
But actually, the first question you're asked is, are you crazy? Are you really, really out of your mind? Why are you doing this? And that's what I get asked first, most of all, because they know from the trajectory which I have had in business that there's quite a bit you're bringing. If you've succeeded in business in Africa, first and foremost, it's a very challenging place for you to succeed. And if you can succeed, I've always said this, if you can succeed as a businessman in Africa, you can succeed anywhere in the world. And then you bring that into politics and into governance, then you're actually bringing something valuable. I found out maybe 3 things came straight to the top. The first aspect of it is this whole fact that there's a mindset that you must absolutely separate business from politics. Clear. When we do international business, one of the things we are told first and foremost is that if you do anything with politics, then you will be labeled as a politically exposed person. What that does, first and foremost, is that anyone who can make a difference in politics in Africa stays away from it first. Why? Because politically exposed persons find it extremely difficult to do anything. If you're going to have a business, you're in trouble. If you're going to travel, you're profiled. The second thing is that there's nothing like a vacuum in life. If you take the best out of the picture, then what you're going to get is that you're going to get the rest. You're just going to get anyone else come into politics. The third thing that I found very, very difficult is that we tend to export, migrate our best. And so the best of the African brains, they go abroad, they go to America, Canada, wherever is going to accept them. And what you leave behind is not often the best. And these 3 things become a problem. And it becomes a problem for us to challenge how we begin to make the potential come to pass.
I mean, what is the reason behind that? Why is it that political parties do not look for the very best to represent their people? Because we know that running a country is perhaps the most intricate thing anybody can do.
Unfortunately, I would put this down to what you would call who do you hold accountable? At the end of the day, the voters hold accountable the people who have come out of the process, not the people who make the process happen. And I think this is really where we must begin to shift focus. If you hold those who are making the selection process, the shortlisting, hold them responsible. And you have to be a part of that process. A lot of times we wait until it is far too late for us. Now, the few people who sit down and make a selection of an election or determining who and who will come out, those few people have to be held accountable for something. Mm-hmm. Who is holding them accountable? And that's really where the question is.
Would you say, perhaps to some degree also, that our culture really undermines that process? Because first, the political systems are insular, and then we are so beholden to power and authority, to our chiefs, to our kings. We don't question. You do what you're told.
I love that. And so here, this is where we have what you would call a theory of change. When we take a look at the process of democracy, as a big word, democracy, right? People think that they know what democracy is until you begin to break it down individually. And when I ask individually, what does democracy mean to you? You find out that it actually means something slightly different from what it means to me. Countries that have gotten this right have taken their culture. So whether it's the kings and chiefs and all that we have as our tradition, we understand that. But then we must translate that into what democracy is. And when we then bring that culture that we have and we wrap it around the democracy that we want to have, then it becomes better. What we unfortunately have done in Africa, is that we're running parallel systems. We're running a system we understand, which is our cultural system with respect to our kings, our chiefs, and all of that. And we're running a system that is imported, which is the democracy, whether it's a Western democracy. So we're running 2 systems that are contrary to each other. The chief says, vote for X. That's all he needs. He goes and votes for X. But then there's a system that is democratic, which basically says that you must interrogate everything and the people must choose who represents them the best. But the people haven't chosen.
In some places, actually, politics is a dirty word. And what makes it? What is politics?
Interesting. That's like ask me what's democracy. But incidentally, the first time that I determined that I was going to go into politics and I made that decision and I left, I was actually coming to the US. I came in and I just realized that I didn't have any cards.